Go. We're videoing now. Well, this is all going to be fucking video.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
This should all go into the video. It's going in the blooper reel.
The blooper.
We are not having a blooper reel.
Thank God. Oh my gosh. Alright.
Why is it not turning off?
It's still going. It knows it's needed.
It
All
knows
right.
it's needed.
You know what else is needed? Sexual equality in the military.
Great segue. Good segue. Good segue. Alright, welcome to episode 2 of Call to Dubski. This episode, we will be focusing on sexual equality, especially in and around the areas of the United States military draft. I want to start off with this statement here. It's this country that we all reside in and lead our lives and has both its bright spots and its flaws. One of the biggest flaws is that there is sexual inequality of many different parts of the country that affect both men and women negatively. I'm a believer that there are different genders for different roles, but there are others who believe that everyone should be treated 100% equally in every aspect of life. Most of these arguments are tailored towards women, African Americans, and LGBTQ people. I do think that these people are important to our society and that they deserve their rights as much as other people do. But there's a lot of blindness that goes on when there's sexual inequality towards men, especially white men, because there's a lot of things that white men are expected to do that other people are not, such as the military draft. I am not, with this argument here today, I am not meaning anything to be sexist or harmful to another person. If you perceive it as such, I'm very sorry, and I hope that you can have a good time watching our podcast. I think it is very interesting to look at how long we've had the military draft going on. I mean, it's been going on for a long time, and the last time it was in action was obviously Vietnam. Many of you will know that. But there are a lot of flaws with the military draft, such as, can you not type that into the document, John? I'm trying to do a podcast here, and you're kind of making it inappropriate. So can you not do that, please? All right,
I'm checking my email right now.
Well then I can go back to the edit history if you want me to. Do you want me to look at the last edit?
Oh no, there were none made.
Okay.
Do you guys just like want to restart?
Nope.
No,
We're
the
keeping this
introduction.
in. We're keeping this
That'd be
in.
great.
I feel like the introduction is
We're
good.
keeping
but...
it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we keeping this part in too?
Obviously, yeah. We're keeping it all in.
Yeah, just Lincoln's.
We're doing one. This is all one thing. We're
This
not
is
editing.
we're one-shotting
It's just
this.
one shot. Yeah.
Oh, great!
Yeah. So this is all staying in here. Even Will's dancing. At the
Even
start.
the Weird Al Yankovic
Yeah.
segment, which took 10
Yeah.
minutes. Do you know
Yeah.
how irresponsible we are with our time here?
Yeah.
10 minutes of straight Weird Al Yankovic.
Okay, it wasn't 10 minutes.
It was like
got
10
to our
minutes.
point. Say the
But
point.
anyways, I think it is important to look at and interesting to look at how there are a lot of articles that cover the attacks and degradations of the minorities of the country, typically, once again, African Americans, women, and LGBTQ people. There are a lot of unfairnesses in this, but there's a lot of stuff that's thrown at Caucasian men and they're expected to handle it and not get mad at it because they are the majority. There are countless arguments both ways. Today we will be talking about how men and women should be equal in the draft. With that, we will head to our first ad.
Play the clip, Will.
Max volume, by the way.
Yeah, that made the cut, by the way.
Yeah.
Does it have sound at all? Are you
Come on,
using
come on,
it?
It's all the way up.
Hey, Nails doesn't have any sound, Lincoln. Oh, did you get it?
Got it.
Why does he sound like Bane? Thank you, Megatron, for sponsoring this segment.
Alright, there is a lot, I've said there's a lot of stuff thrown at men and they're expected to handle it, such as, men occupy a large majority of mining jobs and the military and other such things. This issue obviously affects everyone aged 18 to 26 in the United States. mostly men at this point, but down the road, if women were to be included in the draft, it would also affect them. As I've stated before, human rights are for everyone, regardless of age, race, class, or gender, and treating people unfairly can result in the gender unjust and inequality among race and a lot of other things. And too often, like when we talk of women and when we talk of gender inequality and such, we immediately go, woman, they don't get enough pay, they don't get the same opportunities as men. But and when we think of race, we think of people of color. The dominant groups, those who hold the power in society, or a majority of the power in society, such as white men, they often go unexamined and unanalyzed. And a study done by Stanford University actually talks a lot about how the expectations that white men have, they're expected to meet and not complain about it, are too intense in a way. And we really should just bring the country or bring the world together, and men and women can work in tandem to create a more peaceful and just world. This is obviously all cited from Stanford University and a study done by some students. John, you got anything you want to talk about here?
Well, I don't know what all has been said and what hasn't been said when it comes to this subject in terms of the argument, but when we're looking at everything, we can see that we have over 2 million service members, excluding the Coast Guard, who are currently, ready to go whenever we need them for the sake of security. And so, but the weird part is, that's about 1.1% of the male population that is currently serving. That means only 1.4% would be needed. If the purpose of the draft would be just to, keep us safe, get everyone we need, how would we find that best way of dividing up that extra 0.3% that we need to add? What would you suggest?
So I think random draft lottery of the ages 18 to 26, like your prime physical ability time in your life where you are most physically able. If you want to volunteer past the ages of that is perfectly fine. But I think that age range is definitely best. I don't think that women should necessarily be doing the same roles as men in the military, but I definitely think that there should be some aspect of a draft for women to be drafted into the military in a time of war, such as they could do things like run the base camps, help with medical stuff. They don't necessarily have to be frontline soldiers, but there is a point when you can't just have an all-men military. You can't just have 4 million men running around without any backing or support. I think that it is important to interlace men and women in the military and to have them work together in like one unit doing different jobs.
Yeah.
But I think that there is an area where women should be allowed to be drafted.
What would you recommend there? Would you say a 50% split when we're doing that random lottery, or would you say everyone just starts off with everyone in a pool and then we do the lottery? So would it be a random, so then we could guarantee that's 50% male and 50% female, or what would you say to that?
I don't think it should be an exact 50-50 split. I think that it should be based on what...
More equal, not totally.
Yes, and I think if you want to be in a specific area of the military and the time of war breaks out, you say, I'm going to go volunteer for this. That would make this whole thing a lot easier. You're back in your country, you're doing what's good for your country to support your country and the people in your country, and moving in the way where you're not just thinking about yourself, but thinking about the other people of your country and saying, you know what, let me go make food for them every day. Let me go tend to them when they come back and they're wounded. Or even if you're a woman, you could say, I feel confident in myself, I'm fine going to the front lines, I can go do that. I think that it should be a draft for everyone's equally. I don't think it should be an exact 50-50. I think it should be
So it's starting it as an equal, as
it's an
full
equal
of
playing
everyone.
field. Equal playing field.
Okay.
But you shouldn't be forced into a certain role, especially as a woman, if you don't want to. And I think it is just very important that we have an equal playing field when it comes to the draft.
When it comes to that equal playing field, if we have everyone in one large pool, did you consider the fact that just randomly there could be a disproportionate number of a women majority being in that draft? What would you say to that possibility?
As we talked about earlier, as you brought up the point, we only have 1.1% of the male population is currently serving, and that we only need to be at 2.5% of the male population to be able to serve in a time of war. So I mean, the males are already occupying almost half of what we would need. So it's not exactly like we need a ton more people, and we need roughly the same amount that are already in the military. So even if it was a perfect 50-50 split, it would be roughly 75% men, 25% women in the military. So I think if this trend continues, where a large majority of the military is men, I think the time of draft will end up relatively not equal, actually, because there will be, let's say it's exact 50-50 split between men and women. It won't be perfectly split in the actual military because there will be the active service members.
So even with this all in consideration, and since you said that women can choose their roles in the military, is there a concern that even after that initial draft, you're still not going to have everyone you need in order to fight on the front lines if you have, let's say the majority of women choose to be most supportive members rather than active fighters?
There is a concern of that, but as we're advancing more technologically in this day and age, we are becoming much less reliant on actual soldiers to go shoot each other to front of the lines, and more so like technology or reliant. And there's all these new like UAVs and all these things that you don't need 50 million soldiers out there because you can have robots fighting for you essentially.
So with the technological landscape, are we effectively equalizing even the physical disadvantage that women would have in comparison to like brute strength compared to men? So is that cause for more equality?
Yes, obviously, when military drafts are done, only 8% of females pass the clean and press exercise compared to 80% of the males, and 8% of the best best performers in the combat proxy test were females, while 92% were male. So obviously, yes, men do have a physical advantage when it comes to brute strength and just overall build when it comes to fighting, you could say. But I do think that there's a place for women in the military because, like I said, much more of the military now is phasing towards technological and intellectual parts, and I think there are a ton of very smart women that can be scientists, can be control a UAV, can control a group of soldiers. But like, there's so few actual people that land on the ground. I mean, we send Marine groups of 12 guys to do our missions now.
Yep.
It's not like we're sending out massive squadrons of people to go fight in trenches anymore. So I think that brute force is no longer as reliant as it used to be.
Okay. So then with that in consideration, are you still firm on our physical, standards that we're setting for our military members? Or do you think that we could have a little more leeway since the technological landscape changing and, we're equalizing?
I think it depends on the branch of military you're going into. If you're going into SEALs or Marines and you're going to be more of a frontline fighter who's going to actually go out into the nitty gritty, then you should have a higher requirement of physical ability. But if you're just going to go into like the army, let's just say you're going to be in an office all day and you're going to be in like the big dark rooms you see in the movies, helping control all this stuff. I don't know a ton about how military operations actually work and all, but I know that there is a large control center, and there are a lot of jobs there that can be filled by a woman, and it is not a huge physically demanding job. It's not like you're lifting gigantic people up over your shoulders to carry them out of a combat center. So it is not, it's dependent on your role in the military, it's not as physically demanding. So I think it is important to have different standards for different parts of the military.
But with those standards, would we still want to maintain the exact same culture? And if so, how would we enforce that?
I think that it is important to change the culture of a military with a changing time. And with more women going into the military voluntarily, actually, we have a lot more women phasing into the military. And yes, there are concerns about equality in the military and sexual harassment and such between peers. But I think that the military is actually a very honorable place, and a lot of people that serve there are very honorable and with what they do. And I don't think that, I don't even remember what I was saying.
We're still one taking this, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I don't remember what I was saying. What were we talking about?
Commercial?
Anyways, let's segue to a commercial. Hold the clip, Will.
Was that from a war zone?
What Can we ask our
commercial that
producer
was.
onto the show to explain that commercial?
Can you?
Yeah, I don't. I think.
Can you step into the
I think-
camera?
Can you step into the
Explain.
camera and explain that
No,
commercial?
I think
Yeah,
you just need
you
my
gotta
voice.
get
Come here.
You just need my voice. You just need my
Okay,
voice.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what do you want me to explain?
What
What?
was going
What
on
is going
there?
on?
Can
in
you
that
can you please
commercial?
explain the sponsor's product?
Yes.
Because we don't want to not give them the time they paid for.
Spoiled milk.
Okay.
Spoiled milk.
Yeah.
What's the
What exactly
what's
is
the
the
message
purpose
behind
of
the
this?
spoiled milk?
Did you drink it?
Drink spoiled milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't you get sick though?
You know, we used to walk up hills every morning to school. Okay, I think we can handle. the
Gosh,
best
I'm-
privilege.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
hate the episode where we're sponsored by
Okay,
Tide
we're gonna head back
Pods.
to the podcast. Start talking.
Anyways, I think as we close here, it's important to recognize all the different jobs in the military. As we've talked about, there's hundreds of thousands of jobs, different jobs. You can be a lawyer in the military. You can do all sorts of different things. And in times of combat, it's not just frontline soldiers that are needed. There are thousands of other back-end roles that aren't actually going to be out on the front lines actively shooting another person. Obviously, we don't ever want to have another military draft. We want it to be a peaceful world, and we want to achieve unity in a way. And I think that having a draft set up in an equal way is necessary to have the military protect our country to the best of their ability. I think that there's a lot of evidence backing that women are as helpful in the military as men, and they can do a lot more than men can because of their different abilities that men have. Obviously, as I stated before, I do think that there are two different genders for two different roles. I'm sorry if you disagree with this, but that's just what I believe, and I believe that it's important to see that because women and men are not 100% equal, obviously, but I think that there's a time and place to have them unify and to work towards a common goal that helps the greater good of the country and the world. And as stated, women are obviously not as physically gifted. Yes, there are very talented, strong women that are stronger than the average male, but the average male is bigger, faster, stronger than the average woman. So it is very important to recognize these factors and try not to make them do the exact same things and make them do what they're better at. Women are actually very good caregivers and very good at a lot of the home style things where they can make the military feel like a home for many people. And we just want to stay here for a second. We want to say thank you to any of our active service members, or if you have served in the past, we want to thank you for doing that. We greatly appreciate that, and it makes our lives a whole lot better and safer. So we thank you for your service, and God bless you. Have a great night. God bless America. Shout out Al Yankovic. That is called a Dubski, episode 2. Thank you for listening.